Stopping aging would allow people to retain their physical and mental health throughout their life. Second, aging reduces a person's ultimate potential. Think of all of the information and experience you have acquired throughout your life. Imagine all you would be able to accomplish with this experience and all of the good that you could do if aging was not a limiting factor that would force you into retirement. Third, aging changes a person's mindset. When we are young, most people have dreams they wish to achieve because they see a full, vibrant life ahead of them. But then, as aging sets in, they see less of a life ahead of them and less time to accomplish what they wanted to. So many people simply give up on their dreams. If aging was not a limiting factor, people would have more time to have the fulfillment of achieving their dreams. There is also the practical impact to consider, which is, namely, how would society change if people were not aging the way that they do today? For one, healthcare costs and healthcare insurance would plummet because a young, healthy body is more immune to sickness and disease. The health disorders we normally associate with aging would virtually disappear. With the advancement of stem cell science, all major diseases could become a thing of the past. So our healthcare system would change radically and for the better. There would also be an enormously beneficial outcome for business. Imagine working with an individual with more than 50 years or more of experience in their industry. This level of experience could not be easily replaced, and now people that would normally be in retirement would be making contributions that would previously had not been possible. So stopping and reversing aging would also mean that we as a species would be forced to be more responsible when it concerns the health and well-being of this planet. If politicians knew they could live for several hundred years, perhaps the way that they think about policies that affect the environment would change. We all want clean air, clean water, organic food and sustainability, and preservation of our Earth's natural resources. If people knew they could live longer, then perhaps they would care more about the impact their lives are having on the world around them. So let's agree that aging is a problem that needs to be solved. How do we go about doing this? After all, people have thought of and searched for the fountain of youth for thousands of years. Fortunately, God has provided a path for humans to achieve this because the answer is found in nature. When we look to nature for solutions, we find answers that are in harmony with the world around us. For example, lobsters have been found that are more than 130 years old, and these lobsters have never aged. In fact, they get stronger as they age. And this all happens without any type of drug or intervention. It's a natural process. What is one of the lobster's secrets to achieving this? Lobsters produce an infinite amount of the enzyme telomerase, so their cells can divide virtually an infinite number of times, and they never age during this process. We'll come back to this subject in a few minutes. Then there are mollusks that live to be over 500 years old, never aging over this incredibly long period of time. How do the mollusks achieve this? They have perfect control over oxidative stress and inflammatory stress, among other things. So their cells never experience any type of damage that cannot be repaired. Trees are another great example. Trees live for thousands of years. The glass sea sponge is estimated to have a lifespan of more than 11,000 years. And life forms such as planaria, the immortal jellyfish, and tardigrades do not appear to have any limit to their lifespan at all, effectively being immortal. Think about this just for a moment. For millennia, human beings have dreamt of immortality, with most people being skeptical that this could ever be achieved. Yet, unknown for most of humanity's existence, there already were life forms on this planet that are immortal. How would people's belief systems had changed centuries ago if they knew that life on this planet had achieved the seemingly impossible, namely, never aging? How would your mindset change if you knew that stopping and reversing aging was achievable? Let's use the example of the 4-minute mile. As this story goes, experts had stated that the human body was not capable of running a 4-minute mile. It simply was not possible according to athletes and scientists. Then in the 1940s, the mile record was held at 4 minutes, 1 second, where it stood for 9 years, as runners struggled with the idea that maybe the experts had it right. Perhaps the human body had reached its limit. Then, on May 6, 1954, Roger Bannister broke the 4-minute barrier, running the distance in 3 minutes and 59 seconds. So how was Roger Bannister able to achieve this? It is said that as part of his training, he visualized the achievement in order to create a sense of reality in his mind and body. Barely a year after Bannister's accomplishment, someone else ran a mile in under 4 minutes. Then some more runners did. Now it's almost routine. Even strong high schoolers today run 4-minute miles. The moral to this story is clear. Once people's belief systems changed, breaking the seemingly impossible 4-minute mile became commonplace. Will this happen with age reversal? Once the first human achieves age reversal, will more people take notice and follow? What if age reversal in humans already existed? So the question now becomes, can we discover and understand how species on our planet seemingly cheat aging? Can we learn their secret and adapt this secret to human beings? The exciting answer to this is yes, and it is happening today. At Lifewave, we investigate multiple paths to practical age reversal. And we have in fact been successful at partial age reversal of the aging process in humans as measured in blood testing. How can we measure this analytically? There are many ways of doing this. As we age, the number of times a cell can divide is decreased. Eventually, human cells lose the ability to divide, and then eventually there's no more cells. This is called the Hayflick limit. The Hayflick limit is associated with the length of the telomeres, small rods that are on the end of our chromosomes. As the cells divide, the telomeres are shortened. Once we run out of telomeres and our cells can no longer divide, we are on a quick path to death. Incredibly, cancer cells are virtually immortal because their telomeres never shorten. So if humans gain the ability to prevent or reverse telomere shortening, we will be on the way to practical age reversal and life extension. As we discussed earlier, lobsters have the amazing ability to stay young throughout their lifetime. And it is at least partially because their telomeres never shorten. So, in fact, we are not looking to make an entirely new discovery, which would be extremely difficult. but we are instead looking to adopt what the lobster and other species are doing by applying this to humans. There is more to reversing aging than just the telomeres, though. In order to achieve age reversal, we must manage inflammation and oxidative stress, protect gene expression, keep the cells hydrated, and maintain energy production in the cellular machinery we call the mitochondria. If we do these things, we can protect the integrity and the structure of the cell and dramatically inhibit aging. Fortunately, equipment and tests exist that allow us to monitor all of these parameters. Blood and urine testing helps to keep track of changes in inflammation and oxidative stress. Equipment such as RJL, GDV, biopulsars, and galvanic skin response, among others, allow us to monitor the mitochondrial health and bioelectrical activity of the cell and how it might improve over time. And even biophoton analysis allows us to determine the status of cell coherence, which is ultimately associated with a person's age. It should be noted that while research into new Lifewave patches for age reversal is always ongoing, there are other technologies we develop for achievement of this goal. This technology is biomimetic in nature, meaning I look to copy a natural process and apply it to human beings in the hope that this will result in a new technology and product capable of improving the quality of human life. I always start this process with prayer as I seek to understand God's creation. Through prayer, we can be given information we would not normally have access to and help ourselves and others in the process. Let's look at one example in nature and how research into this phenomena is paving a way towards creating a biomimetic technology that will allow us to achieve dramatic life extension in humans. A story came out this past year about the temnothorax ant. Apparently, this species of ant can be infected with a parasitic tapeworm that resides in the ant's gut. But what makes this interesting to us is that the relationship between the ant and the tapeworm is symbiotic, meaning the two species are helping one another. The tapeworm benefits from the relationship because the ant provides the tapeworm with food and shelter. The ant, on the other hand, is given the incredible gift of youth and life extension. The ant never ages, and its lifespan increases by an incredible 5 to 6 times above normal. How would you like to live to be over 500 years old and never age? Upon investigation, it was discovered that the tapeworms are causing specific genes in the ants to express. And this causes the ants to produce more energy than they would normally. This discovery is completely consistent with the concepts we and others have been researching. Namely, elevate energy production in the cell, and the genes will flip back to a youthful state, reversing the aging process. So, in other words, knowing that a process exists in nature which allows ants to never age and live up to 6 times longer than normal, we then can seek to create technology that can mimic this process in a healthy way, test the process in our labs for safety and efficacy, and then eventually proceed to human testing. Our development of technology to achieve this is farther along than most people would think, and the future has never been more exciting. We are on the path to achieving practical age reversal in humans, and we look forward to releasing new products in the coming years to help set you on this path as well. Many times when we are faced with a problem in our lives, the problem can feel enormous and impossible to overcome, like the problem of age reversal. We can face daily challenges or some big overarching challenge. As difficult as these situations may be, there are always solutions. If we turn to God and nature, allow ourselves to be silent and open to receiving answers, those answers will be given to us and be added to us as a blessing so we can be of better service to humanity. And with this new, longer, and healthy life in front of you, imagine the dreams you have had that you can now fulfill so you can live your why. We all have a contribution to make in life so that we can make this planet a better place to live. We look forward to providing you with the tools you need so you can fulfill your own dreams, have the time you need to do that, and create your own success story. So while we can look forward to new and exciting age reversal technology in the future, let's now take an opportunity to talk about what we can do today so that we can be on the path to having the best life possible and start the age reversal process and increase our lifespan and health span as a result. So now, this section is going to be about what we can do today to start recapturing our youth. The first thing is a principle that I would like you to consider, which is that aging should not be looked at as a normal process. The process of aging is incredibly destructive to the body, both physically and mentally. So if we adopt the mindset that this is not normal, then we can develop a mindset of staying younger longer and eventually reversing aging. So picture in your mind what you look like when you were younger and keep yourself focused on that image. In other words, think about what optimum health and youth looks like. What is it that a person is when they're truly healthy? What's the image that comes to mind? Then, what's changing in our bodies over time that takes us from the state of youth and health to being old and weak? Science has advanced now to the point where we can understand this process in great detail. And when we can understand a problem, we can seek solutions to that problem. So, more importantly, what can we do today to prevent or reverse the process of aging? This is something that I personally have spent decades looking at, and it's incredibly exciting that there are solutions today that we can implement into our daily lives to help us on this journey and protect our health and longevity. Let's look at a very interesting phenomena that will maybe condition our mindsets into thinking that age reversal is possible. It's a phenomenon many people may not have heard of before, and it's called parabiosis. But essentially, this was first done in the 1800s, and maybe surprisingly, that research has continued into modern times. But the first embodiment of parabiosis was to connect two living creatures together, in this case mice, so that they would share a common circulatory system. One of the goals was to see if the blood from the younger mouse was given to the older mouse, would the older mouse become younger and healthy? And incredibly, it turns out that you can achieve partial age reversal with this method. Stanford University, of all places, was one of the universities to pick up on this research. In 2005, they demonstrated that giving blood from a young mouse, placing it into an older mouse, could have the effects of reversing part of the aging process. Absolutely incredible. So this then gives us a path to looking at what is it in the blood of animals, and hopefully we find the same thing in human beings, that can lead to age reversal. So this is something definitive now that can be examined. Now, this was carried to the point where in 2017, a California-based company began to sell the blood from younger people and sell that to people that were very wealthy, as it turns out, in an effort that they were seeking to achieve youth and longevity. Not surprisingly, the FDA stepped in because it was determined that there was not enough clinical evidence to demonstrate this was having a positive or a safe effect in human beings. So FDA made a statement that this was not proven scientifically, and as a result, this company shut down. But certainly you would think after several hundred years of people investigating an effect that maybe there's more to this story and maybe there is something there. Well, as it turns out, there is. In 1973, Dr. Loren Pickart was able to isolate copper peptide, we know it as GHK-Cu, from human plasma. Dr. Pickart had begun this research in the late 1960s because he had found that when he was placing the blood from someone that was young, and he was taking liver tissue that was from someone between 60 and 80 years old, there was a rejuvenative effect on those cells. This is really exciting because it means that the phenomena of parabiosis now may be directly associated with copper peptide. In other words, narrowing down that a single peptide could cause the cells to behave like younger, healthier cells and rejuvenate the body is an extremely exciting discovery. It means that we don't have to be born, aged, and die, that there may be a way to change this process and stay younger longer, or even reverse aging. One really good question is, how is it possible that just a single biochemical, a single peptide, could have such a powerful effect on the human body? The human body is incredibly complex. So is it really conceivable that a single chemical could reverse aging or have age-reversing effects? Well, Dr. Pickart was faced with this question, and over a period of about 45 years, as he conducted clinical studies into the power of copper peptide, what he found was that it was capable of resetting thousands of genes to a younger, healthier state. So let's think about this just for a moment. Many of you may have taken the antioxidant resveratrol. Resveratrol is actually a weak antioxidant, as it's been discovered. The real power of resveratrol is being able to flip certain genes called sirtuins back to a more youthful state, and this is extraordinarily good for our overall health. But the genes that resveratrol can change are relatively limited. Here, we have a simple peptide, GHK-Cu, that can flip thousands of genes to a healthier state. In fact, about 1/3 of the human genome. So you could almost say that we're about 1/3 of the way there to reversing the process of aging. Now, copper peptide, or GHK, is a small molecule, and it has, quite surprisingly, a huge range of health benefits. Some of the things that Dr. Pickart studied was looking at the broad effects of copper peptide. So, for example, he conducted studies in wound healing, what's known as tissue remodeling, stimulating cell growth, anti-inflammatory effects, antioxidant activity. And this was all associated with the ability of GHK to bind with copper and the ability of GHK-Cu to beneficially change gene expression. So this is really all a way of saying that what happens here is when you age, the levels of copper peptide in your body decrease. If we can increase the levels of copper peptide in our body, we can reset genes to a more youthful state, and in doing that, we can improve our body's levels of antioxidants, get better control over inflammation, achieve reduction in pain, reduction in anxiety, and other health benefits as well. Now, keep in mind that many regulatory agencies around the world, such as the FDA here in the United States, have never approved copper peptide for consumer use outside of cosmetics. In the clinical studies on copper peptide, they were performed with people receiving injections of GHK. As a practical matter, most people don't want to give themselves injections daily of anything. So you can see why up until now, copper peptide has not widely been distributed for consumer use. So you could say that X39 is the first practical method of elevating copper peptide that's available to people today. So that's incredibly exciting. We should be able to benefit from this extraordinarily powerful peptide. And now we can. So how does the patch work? We're not injecting the body with copper peptide. How does this work? So when we go out in the sun, sunlight will cause our body to make vitamin D. Okay, we all know this and we accept this. Men, as an example, when they age, they are faced with declining levels of testosterone. It's known that by shining sunlight during the summer on a man's shoulders, that this will stimulate the androgen receptors in the trapezius muscles, elevating testosterone. So there are a number of very, very significant biological effects when we expose the body to light. And that's exciting to know that our bodies have this interaction with light and use light as a signaling method to change our biochemistry in a very favorable way. So this is a natural process. So Lifewave technology takes advantage of this. Light therapy has been around for at least thousands of years. Over the past 120 years, light therapy has been reviewed scientifically to look at exactly how is it working. So now over the past 15 years, the exact mechanisms by which light works to influence our health are much more well known. With respect to the patch, this is not an active electronic device. So instead of using a lamp or a laser to elevate something like vitamin D, what we're going to do instead is use the body as a power source. So you take a patch, you apply it anywhere on the body, and the patch will begin to stimulate the body with low levels of light. The light is in the range of visible and infrared spectra. This is a process in science known as photobiomodulation, but it simply means that we can stimulate the body with low levels of light with the patch, and in turn, this is going to create a very favorable biochemical change in the body. And in this case, we want to use light to elevate copper peptide and activate our body's stem cells. Now, how do we know that Lifewave X39 will elevate copper peptide? Well, I'm happy to say that over the last 20 years, we've conducted more than 80 clinical studies on our products. If you go to the science section of our website, you can see our studies posted there. So we perform these multiple clinical studies. In the case of X39, we conduct blood testing to validate that the patch elevates GHK and GHK-Cu. We perform urine tests to look at how the patch can have very, very favorable changes on our body chemistry. And we perform various bioelectrical tests to look at how, for example, X39 can improve cognitive function, since that's something that people are very concerned about as we age. So let's take a look at a few of those studies now, which again, you can access on our website. This first study was performed by Dr. Caitlin Connor, and this was to look at, our very first look at using X39 to elevate GHK and GHK-Cu. So this was a 10-person open-label pilot study done through blood analysis. An important note here is that the average age of the person in the study was 64. Reason for this is that after the age of 60, copper peptide levels had decreased by 60 to 80%. Not coincidentally, the stem cell activity in our body has decreased over 60% after the age of 60. So there's a correlation between levels of copper peptide and stem cell activity. We performed this study over a period of 1 week. So we look at what's a person's levels of copper peptide before they use the patch, within 24 hours, and then after 1 week. So what we found in this first study, which was incredibly exciting, was that yes, when you apply X39, it will in fact elevate GHK and GHK-Cu. So we have the proof that the patch does that. Now, our methodology at Lifewave is we always perform a pilot study and then we move to a larger double-blind study. So we took that first study and then followed it up with a second one. And this is a larger 60-person, double-blind, placebo-controlled study, again with an older population, and the test conducted using blood analysis and over a period of 24 hours and 1 week. This study was also published in Internal Medicine Research, and this study is posted to the science section of our website. And as you can see here, we again reached statistical significance, meaning we proved in this 60-person study that when you wear the X39 patch, it will in fact increase your body's levels of GHK and GHK-Cu. So this is exciting because now for the first time, we can elevate copper peptide without using any kind of injection, do it from the convenience of our own home. It's very fast, it's safe, it's effective, and it can contribute to a healthy life. So where do we go from here? If copper peptide is resetting about 1/3 of the human genome back to a more healthy state, can we reach 100%? What can we do today, right now, to improve our quality of life and prime our body for the best health and age reversal? The first thing is we all need to have a very solid foundation. That's going to start with a number of things. First, a healthy, nutritious diet. Getting proper nutrition is absolutely critical to success when we're talking about lengthening our lifespan and improving what's called our health span, meaning staying young and healthy as long as possible. We need to get adequate amounts of protein, healthy fats, vitamins and minerals as they fuel that our body is going to need to manufacture hormones and make new cells. Without having that as a foundation, we're never going to achieve the optimum levels that we could. The next thing is some type of regular resistance training. One of the problems we face as we age is muscle atrophy or age-related sarcopenia. By resistance training, not only do we get to preserve our muscles and our muscle strength and stamina, but the act of exercise and resistance training turns on genes associated with youth and health. So there are multiple benefits to regular resistance training. Another factor that, of course, is very obvious is sleep. We need to get at least 7 hours of sleep each day so our body has time to repair and make the hormones that it needs. For example, if we're getting less than, for a man, if we're getting less than 6 hours of sleep, we could see a decline of as much as 30% of our levels of testosterone. So we need to have adequate amounts of sleep if we are going to be on a path to slowing down and reversing aging. In societies all around the world today, unfortunately, food has become depleted of nutrition. So it's good to take a review of what it is that you're getting in your diet on a daily basis and supplement where necessary. These don't have to even be man-made supplements. They could be things like olive oil, or just to make sure that you're getting enough healthy fats in your body. We want to be drinking enough clean water each day. We need water to make energy and detoxify our body of metabolic wastes. So let's set a goal of drinking 1 or 2 liters of water each day. That's not so bad. And of course, we want to avoid things that we know will degrade our health. So we try to keep stress at a minimum in our daily lives, not abuse alcohol, preferably don't smoke, don't do drugs, and keep all of these things at an absolute minimum. If we avoid the things that are degrading our health, we will be much further along the way to preserving our health. In terms of Lifewave patches, we have found a number of them have significant anti-aging effects and even age reversal effects. Since we've covered X39 and its ability to reset genes to a younger, healthier state, this is going to be by far our most powerful patch. And if you were only to pick one Lifewave product to use, you would be starting with X39. For those of you that want to get the best results and use other Lifewave patches, then there are other products that you can use to build upon this. Our very first product, Lifewave Energy Enhancer, is actually an anti-aging and age reversal product to a degree. As we age, the amount of energy our body produces decreases. So Energy Enhancer turns on the process of getting more energy from fat. So this is an age reversal phenomena. We also perform studies. This is with what was called biophoton analysis with Dr. Gaetan Chevalier. And as the cells age, the coherence of the cell begins to break down. What does that mean? In order for cells to survive, they need to produce energy or use energy, and they need to be able to communicate within themselves and within their environment. And as we age, this ability breaks down. A disease that's associated with improper cell signaling would be arthritis. What we found with Energy Enhancer is that it could improve biophoton emission, and by enhancing biophoton emission, we improve cell communications, both inside and outside of the cell. So this is a age reversal phenomena. Now, our lifespan is intimately linked to our body's levels of antioxidants, and our primary antioxidant is glutathione, the master antioxidant. Glutathione will protect our cells from damage, and glutathione is ubiquitous. It's found in nearly every cell in the human body. So, for example, the main antioxidant that protects our hearing is glutathione. Glutathione is mostly manufactured in the liver, and that should give you an idea about how important glutathione is to the detoxification process. So to help protect your cells from damage and optimize lifespan, you want to focus on elevating glutathione. Now, for those of you that are vegans, you may not be getting enough of the amino acid cysteine in your diet. Glutathione is a tripeptide. It is made from 3 amino acids, and the rate-limiting amino acid is cysteine. So if you are a vegan, you're not consuming things like milk or eggs, you may want to take a cysteine supplement to help support glutathione production. Carnosine is another antioxidant. This is a dipeptide. It's made from beta-alanine and histidine. And carnosine is remarkable. It is found mostly in the brain, in the heart, in the muscle tissue, and it's even been found that carnosine can protect the telomeres from degrading. In fact, there are animals studies that will show that carnosine can extend lifespan by 30 to 40% through protection of the telomeres. So that's really incredible if we're looking for a way to extend life and protect our health. We have a clinical study on our carnosine patch back from 2011 that shows within only 30 days of use, it can restore age-related cognitive decline, meaning you can use carnosine as a method of protecting your brain from some of the negative effects of aging, or if you're already over the age of 50 or 60 and your cognitive abilities are not as sharp as maybe they once were, you could use carnosine to recapture some of those lost cognitive abilities. Another phenomenal benefit of carnosine is that we've seen in separate studies that it will increase strength and stamina in a very short period of time. So not only do you get the immediate benefits of improving strength, stamina, and cognitive function, but there are long-term health benefits as well. And then finally, there is the Eon patch. Now, this has been one of our top-selling patches since we came out with this in 2010, 2011. And this is because Eon is used for stress management and has phenomenal age reversal and life-extending abilities. One of the reasons why we age is because of elevated levels of oxidative and inflammatory stress. In other words, as we age, our bodies begin to lose the ability to remove inflammatory stress, and this will damage healthy tissue. By using the Eon patch, we can put our nervous system into a calm state, reducing oxidative and inflammatory stress and improving overall quality of life. So, like our other patches, the immediate benefit that you get with Eon is that it can help manage and balance stress, and there's these amazing long-term benefits of life extension with Eon. Now, one other benefit of Eon I think that's worth mentioning is many people will often combine it with Icewave. And this is because as a product that helps to manage inflammation, many people will get pain relief just from using the Eon patch. So if you happen to be suffering with any type of acute or chronic pain, using the Eon patch or Eon with Icewave is going to provide some wonderful benefits. Now, where are we headed in the future? First thing is we've already developed, tested, put through clinical studies, new stem cell products. X39 was the beginning of our stem cell story, not the end. So I'm very happy to say that the research team that I work with, we've been successful at developing new stem cell products, and we're looking forward to introducing those to you over the next 3 to 5 years. Because age reversal is always going to be associated with the length of the telomeres as part of the solution, we have been looking into ways to lengthen the telomere. And that's a story that we are going to be telling in the coming years. I'm incredibly excited about the results that we have achieved, not only in the lab, but with human beings. And so you can look forward to a product in the future. We're also looking at better ways to rejuvenate the overall health of the human cell and reset the cell to a younger and healthier state. This is just a basic way of saying that we are creating new technology and creating technology other than the patches for age reversal and life extension, basically giving you the ability to stay younger longer. So this is all culminating in products for achieving the goal of age reversal. You can see in many of the testimonials that we receive from around the world that many people are starting to experience these benefits. So again, I would encourage you to examine your foundation of diet, nutrition, exercise, sleep, hydration to get the best results possible with the products that we have today, because people from our community all around the world are achieving some extraordinary results with the products that we already offer today. So I want to take this opportunity to thank you for your time and investing this time in yourself. Now, we live in incredibly exciting times when it comes to this subject of health and longevity. There have never been better opportunities than there are today. So I want to thank you for being a part of the Lifewave community, sharing in our dream to bring this technology all over the world so we can help and support those who need us. Thank you.
Thank you so much.